What if I told you that it's not the big gestures or flashy moves that really grab a guy's attention, but tiny, almost invisible things women do every day? Things so simple, so natural, that most people don't even notice. Yet those little moments have the power to completely change the way a guy feels. Stick around, because I'm about to share 7 cute little things that turn guys on in ways you'd never expect. And once you know them, you'll see attraction in a whole new light. There's something undeniably attractive about a woman who knows how to be playful and confident at the same time. It's not about being loud, overly assertive, or trying to be the center of attention. It's about the quiet, magnetic energy she gives off when she's comfortable in her own skin. Think about that moment when a woman walks into a room and doesn't need to announce herself. She just smiles, maybe exchanges a quick look, and already there's something intriguing about her. Guys pick up on that energy almost instantly. It's subtle, but powerful. It's the confidence that says, I'm good with who I am, and I don't need to prove it. One of the ways this playful confidence shows up is through teasing, not in a mean or manipulative way, but in that light, charming way that creates chemistry. Maybe she gives a guy a little hard time about the way he talks about his fantasy football league, or gently jokes about how he always gets the same coffee every morning. It's not about putting him down. It's about creating a dynamic, a spark, a moment that feels alive. It's flirting without it being too obvious. When she does it with a smile, and he knows she's just playing, it instantly changes the energy between them. It adds a layer of fun that makes the interaction stand out. And then there's the way she holds eye contact when she's talking, or even better, when she's listening. Not in a forced or intense way, but with this relaxed presence that tells him, I'm here, I'm paying attention. That kind of confidence, where she doesn't feel the need to fill every silence or impress him with stories, is rare. It's the confidence to just be in the moment. Guys notice that. A woman who can sit back, smile, and let the conversation unfold naturally without overthinking it. That's a woman who's deeply attractive, even if she doesn't realize it. Sometimes it's in the way she laughs at her own silly joke, or shrugs when she makes a mistake, brushing it off like it's no big deal. That sense of ease, of not needing to be perfect. It's real, and it makes a guy feel more relaxed around her too. It's not about putting on a performance. It's just her being herself, and not needing approval to feel okay. That kind of self-assured playfulness shows up in little moments, but it sticks in his mind long after she's gone. And the truth is, when a woman has this kind of playful confidence, she gives off a vibe that says she's emotionally independent. She's not desperate for attention, but she welcomes connection. That's incredibly attractive, because it feels like he's not just talking to someone cute. He's connecting with someone who brings her own spark to the room. And that, more than anything else, is what turns guys on in a deep and lasting way. There's something about subtle physical gestures that go beyond words. It's not about being overly flirty or trying too hard. It's the little natural touches that happen in a moment and carry more weight than most people realize. Like when a woman reaches out and lightly touches a guy's arm during a laugh. She's not thinking about it. It's just something she does in the moment. But to him, it hits different. It creates a shift, even if he doesn't fully understand why. That gentle contact, that small, casual brush, it breaks the invisible wall and brings the two just a little closer. It's not about the touch itself, it's what it signals. When a woman is comfortable enough to make that kind of contact, it says something. It says, I'm at ease with you. And guys feel that. They feel that safety, that warmth, and their guard comes down. Think about a moment where she straightens his collar, brushes something off his shirt, or even playfully bumps into him while walking. None of these are grand gestures, but they carry this quiet intimacy. It's not sexual, it's something softer, more human, and that's where the connection lives. Most guys aren't touched often in everyday life. They don't get hugs unless they're from close friends or family. They don't get that light, affectionate contact during a conversation. So when a woman does it, even in the smallest way, it stands out. It feels meaningful, even if she meant it casually. Maybe she's telling a story and instinctively puts her hand on his knee for a second, or touches his back while walking past him. Those little things, they stick. They create chemistry without words. And what makes it even more powerful is when it doesn't feel calculated. It's not the touch of someone trying to seduce, it's the touch of someone who's present. Someone who's not afraid to let the moment guide her. That's what guys pick up on. The authenticity, the fact that it's not a move, it's just her being real. And in that realism, sometimes it's not even a direct touch. It could be the closeness when she leans in to show him something on her phone. The shared space. The light tension in the air when their shoulders almost touch. These things happen naturally. And that's exactly why they're so powerful. They're unforced, but they shift the mood. They turn casual into intimate, playful into personal, and guys respond to that on a deeper level than they even realize. What's crazy is that most women don't even know the effect they have in these moments. They're just being themselves, reacting in the flow of the interaction, but to a guy, it creates a memory, a physical imprint, a signal that says this moment means something, even if neither of them say it out loud. And that's why these subtle touches have such a strong effect. They're small, but they're unforgettable. There's a certain magic in the way a woman shows genuine curiosity. Not the kind that's polite or surface level, but the kind that makes a guy feel like he's the most interesting person in the room. It's when she asks questions that don't feel scripted, and she listens like she actually wants to understand, not just respond. In those moments, something shifts. The conversation becomes more than small talk, it becomes personal. Guys notice that. And not just with their minds, but with their emotions. It taps into something deeper, something that goes beyond attraction. Picture a woman leaning in slightly, maintaining soft eye contact, nodding at the right moments, not because she's trying to impress, but because she's genuinely interested. Maybe she hears him talk about a project he's passionate about, and instead of saying, "cool," and moving on, she asks, "What made you want to start that?" That one question, it opens him up, because suddenly he's not just talking, he's being seen. And there's a big difference. Most guys go through life with their guard up. They're used to people listening just enough to reply, but not enough to connect. So when someone breaks that pattern, it hits differently. Even the way she reacts makes a difference. When she's fascinated by something simple, like the story behind his tattoo or how he learned to cook his favorite dish, it shows she values the small things, the personal details. That builds trust. That kind of energy makes a guy feel like he matters, like his story is worth telling. And that's rare. It's not about inflating his ego. It's about creating a space where he feels emotionally safe, safe to open up, to be a little vulnerable, to show more of who he is without fear of being judged or brushed off. It's also in the follow-up, when she remembers something he mentioned days ago, a book he's reading, a meeting he was nervous about, and brings it up later. It blows his mind a little, because it means she wasn't just filling time, she was paying attention. That kind of memory sticks. It says, you're not just another conversation, and that's incredibly attractive in a world where everyone's half distracted. and rushing to the next thing. It's not about being overly serious either. The questions don't have to be deep or philosophical. Sometimes it's the way she responds to something funny he said, asking for more, laughing in the middle of his story, keeping the flow going. It's a playful form of curiosity, the kind that makes him want to keep talking, keep sharing, keep being around her. Because when someone is truly interested in who you are, not just what you look like or what you can offer, it creates a spark that's way more powerful than any physical attraction. It makes the moment feel real and the connection feel rare, and in a guy's mind, that's unforgettable. There's something incredibly charming about a woman's real, unfiltered laugh. Not the polite kind, not the one she gives because she thinks she's supposed to, but the one that just slips out because she couldn't hold it in. The kind that makes her cover her face for a second, or throw her head back, completely caught off guard by something funny. That moment right there, that's when a guy feels something shift, because it's not rehearsed. It's not part of a game. It's her being completely herself, and it's impossible to fake. That's what makes it so attractive. Guys are used to masks. They're used to people trying to impress them, trying to be cool, trying to say the right thing. But when a woman just laughs, really laughs, it feels like the mask drops. It's vulnerable in the best way. It's her letting go of how she thinks she should be and just enjoying the moment. And that's rare, because when someone's comfortable enough to lose themselves in a laugh, it means they're comfortable in the moment, and maybe even comfortable with the person they're with. It's also incredibly disarming. Think about it. Laughter is contagious. When a woman laughs like that, it gives the guy permission to relax too, to be himself, to let go of that pressure to be cool or impressive. And that's where real chemistry starts to form. Not in trying to look perfect, but in those messy, unexpected, honest moments. A guy may not remember every detail of what she said, but he'll remember the sound of that laugh. He'll remember how it made him feel, and that feeling tends to stick. Sometimes it's even the way she laughs at herself that hits hardest, like when she makes a joke and cracks up before finishing it, or when she messes something up and just laughs instead of getting embarrassed. That kind of self-acceptance is incredibly attractive. It shows she doesn't take herself too seriously, and that's a huge relief. Because the truth is, guys aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for someone they can breathe around, someone they can be human with. And when she laughs like that, it sends the message that it's okay to just be. It doesn't have to be loud or dramatic either. Even a soft giggle, a snort she didn't mean to let out, or a laugh that turns into a goofy little snicker, it all works because it's real. It shows personality. It shows that underneath everything she has this natural, joyful energy that makes things feel lighter. And that lightness, that's magnetic. Especially in a world where everything feels so heavy and serious all the time. A guy might not be able to explain why it gets to him, but somewhere deep down, he knows. That laugh made him feel something. And that feeling doesn't go away easily. There's something unbelievably endearing about the little nervous habits a woman shows when she's shy or caught off guard. These are the kinds of things she probably doesn't even notice she's doing, like tucking her hair behind her ear over and over, biting her lip when she's trying to think of the right words, or fiddling with her jewelry while she's listening. To her it might seem like nothing, but to a guy who's paying attention, those moments are unforgettable, not because they're polished or perfect, but because they're real, and real always stands out. What makes these nervous little quirks so attractive is that they reveal a softer, more vulnerable side. It's the complete opposite of someone trying to act cool or overly confident. It shows that she cares, that she's present, that the moment means something to her. And for a guy, that's powerful. Because let's be honest, everyone's gotten pretty good at pretending to be unaffected, pretending to be uninterested, pretending everything is casual. So when someone shows even the smallest sign that they're feeling something, it cuts through the noise. It creates this almost instant emotional connection. It might be the way her voice changes slightly when she gets nervous. Maybe she stumbles over her words a little or laughs at something she said, even if it wasn't that funny. Those moments are gold because they tell a story. They show that underneath whatever exterior she's presenting, there's a whole world of emotion happening. It's not about being fragile, it's about being human. And in those subtle, spontaneous actions, there's a kind of charm that no amount of planning or posing could ever create. Even a simple blush can say more than a well-rehearsed line. When her cheeks turn red after a compliment, or she glances away for a second because eye contact suddenly feels too intense, it's adorable. And it's deeply honest. It makes a guy feel like the moment is real, like he's not just going through the motions of flirting. He's actually connecting with someone who's letting him see her true self, even if it's just for a second. And the truth is, most guys aren't looking for flawless confidence 24/7. They're not expecting someone to always have the perfect thing to say or the perfect reaction to everything. What really pulls them in is that unpredictability, the rawness of someone who's just reacting in the moment, unsure of exactly what to do, but still showing up anyway. That little bit of awkwardness, those tiny signs of being unsure, it creates a warmth, a closeness that's hard to fake. Because when a woman shows those nervous little habits, it doesn't make her look weak or insecure. It makes her feel real. And in a world where so many people are afraid to be seen like that, it's those exact moments that end up standing out the most. There's something that hits differently when a woman gives a compliment that's completely unexpected. Not the usual ones guys hear all the time, like "you're cute" or "you have nice eyes," but the kind that reaches deeper, the kind that shows she actually noticed something about him that others usually miss. Maybe she says something like, "I really like how calm you are in stressful situations," or "you always make people feel included." That kind of compliment lands with impact because it's not about appearance or surface level charm, it's about character. And when a guy hears that, he doesn't just feel flattered, he feels seen. Most guys don't get many compliments, especially the kind that feel personal. They're used to giving them more than receiving them. So when a woman offers one out of nowhere and it feels real, it catches him off guard in the best way. It makes him pause, think, smile to himself later when he's alone. That's how powerful it can be. It shows that she's paying attention not just to what he says, but to who he is underneath the conversation. And when someone takes the time to recognize that part of you, it creates a shift. It draws you in. It could be something as simple as, "You're really easy to talk to," or "I love the way your mind works." These aren't flashy lines, they're quiet observations. But they stick because they're not about trying to flirt, they're about appreciation. And appreciation goes a long way when it's honest. A guy might hear a dozen compliments about his looks, but the one that points out how thoughtful he is, that's the one he'll remember. Even the timing matters. Sometimes the most powerful compliment comes when he's not expecting it at all. Maybe he's telling a story about something that happened at work, and she just looks at him and says, "You're such a good leader." He didn't ask for that. He wasn't trying to show off. But hearing it in that moment creates a spark, because it tells him she sees something more than what's on the surface. And sometimes it's the way she delivers it that makes all the difference. Not in a big dramatic way, but casually, like it just slipped out because she couldn't help it. That's when it feels the most real. That's when it doesn't feel rehearsed or forced. It just feels true. And that kind of truth creates a level of attraction that goes way beyond looks or chemistry. It creates trust, safety, that feeling of she gets me, which is way more powerful than anything physical. A woman who gives these kinds of compliments isn't just being nice, she's making a connection. And the guy on the receiving end doesn't just feel good about himself, he feels good around her. And that's the part he wants to come back to. When a woman gets excited over little things, there's a kind of joy in it that's hard to ignore. It's the way her eyes light up when she talks about something simple, like her favorite song coming on the radio, a dog she saw on the way to meet you, or a random idea that popped into her head. It's not about what she's excited about, it's how real it is. That spark in her voice, that little bounce in her expression, that smile she can't hold back. It's contagious. It makes a guy feel like life around her is just more alive. It's not about being overly bubbly or pretending to be happy all the time. It's those moments when her guard drops and her genuine enthusiasm takes over. Maybe she finds the snack she hasn't had since childhood and reacts like she just discovered gold. Or maybe she's watching a movie she loves for the 10th time and still gasps at the same scenes. Those are the kinds of moments that stick with people because they show who she really is when no one's watching. There's something innocent about it, almost childlike in the best way, not immature but unfiltered. Guys, pick up on that, because the truth is life can get heavy. Everyone's got stress, deadlines, pressure, responsibilities. So when someone comes along who can still find joy in the small things, it feels like a breath of fresh air. It makes him want to lean in closer, just to be around that energy. It's comforting, it's refreshing, it's real. It makes her feel like someone who's grounded but not hardened, someone who hasn't let the world take her wonder away. There's also something deeply attractive about someone who gives themselves permission to enjoy the moment without self-consciousness. She's not worried about looking cool when she gets excited. She's not trying to tone it down to seem chill. She's just letting the emotion show. That kind of freedom is rare and magnetic. It says a lot about her confidence. Not the loud kind, the kind that says, I like what I like, and I'm not afraid to show it. Maybe it's how she reacts when she sees the sunset and insists on stopping to take a picture, or when she tastes something delicious and makes that little sound without even thinking, or the way she lights up when someone brings up a topic she loves, like astrology or horror movies or a band she's obsessed with. Those reactions might seem small, but they reveal a lot. They show passion, presence, and a heart that's still open. What guys find attractive in those moments isn't just the reaction, it's the energy behind it. It makes the interaction feel more alive, more sincere. It shows him that being around her means things won't be dull or forced. It means there's room for fun, for wonder, for joy. And that's something people crave more than they realize. At the end of the day, it's not grand gestures or flawless perfection that truly draw a man in. It's the small, real, beautifully human things a woman does without even realizing it. The little touches during a laugh, the genuine curiosity in a conversation, the way she lights up over something simple. These moments leave a mark. They create a connection that goes deeper than surface level attraction. They make her unforgettable, not because she tried to be, but because she was simply herself. And in a world full of filters, distractions, and people trying to be what they think they should be, that kind of authenticity is rare and magnetic. It's those cute, subtle, honest behaviors that quietly turn the key and make a man feel something real. Not just interest, not just excitement, but a deeper pull that says, this is someone I want to be around.